Mark, you were just in Chicago for the Combine.
Yeah.
What are the scouts saying about Bronny?
Well, they wanted to reserve judgment until they saw him. They did see he was listed as 6'1", and they did see he had a 40.5 vert. But I was like, what would you do right now before he goes and plays? What would you do? And they said, we wouldn't draft him. Both of them said they would not draft him. I said, okay, let me give him a couple days. Let's see what happens after they watch him play. Now, this is their take after watching him play. Scout 1. I still don't think he's ready, but he did some good things. He's on the smaller side, so he's going to have to be elite on defense. You can see he has good vision, makes right passes, takes good shots. He's probably going to need more time. If the Lakers don't draft him, I don't see anyone drafting him. Teams would want him on a two-way, and I don't think Clutch would want that. It gets a little tougher. The other scout I talked to, positional athlete, doesn't function as an elite athlete, tweener stuck between two positions. Should be a point guard based on his size, but he can't run an offense. He's handicapped as an undersized shooting guard because he can't shoot. 0-4 on threes on one day, 1 for 3 the other day. Needs screens to create space, and his only scoring came on paint touch floaters and can only go left. His strength is supposed to be defensively, but he's a switch matchup. Every bigger player who switched on him scored. He's a poor man's Davion Mitchell. He is not an NBA prospect, in my opinion. Not my words, words of 2 veteran NBA scouts.
Okay, welcome back to the channel. Now, a couple of months ago, I made a video where I talked about sports media, how it needs to be studied, and how it's bad. Now, when I talk about those things, one of the points that I mentioned is how sports media doesn't know how to talk about a certain NBA player because they are always looking for the next NBA player, looking for the next person that can make us the face. And one of the points I made in that video is how they don't know how to do that because they misinform their viewers. So in this video, we're going to be talking about Bronny James and his NBA draft stock and how it's messing up sports media and misconstruing their views and how it's actually supposed to be.
And I got to worry about trade talk. I'm the MVP. I'm the MVP of this league. The best basketball players in the world. I was honored with the MVP. The MVP, the best basketball player in the world. And when I lose, this is what I got to go through.
You're up 2-0. What's the story? Are you not happy, or you're only half happy, or?
Still to be happy about.
You're up 2-0.
Job's not finished. Job finished? I don't think so.
Okay.
Fellas, we work all year long for it, man. Shaq the man, most dominant player in the world. Championship, it's ours. Love it, it's beautiful. Mwah, 2G, baby, you love it. We out.
It's showtime, folks. So, if you didn't know, Bronny James is the son of LeBron James, and he has declared for the NBA draft and also declared for the transfer portal. By the time we record this video, he is declared for the NBA draft and is going to be in the NBA draft, if I'm not mistaken. So, when we talk about these certain things, I'm going to play a clip probably before this thing I'm saying, where scouts went to the draft combine, they went to where Bronny was practicing, and they gave their thoughts about Bronny, unbiased veteran NBA scouts. They basically said that if the Los Angeles Lakers don't draft him, they don't see him getting drafted. If he gets drafted, it's going to be a late second round pick. They're projecting for him is basically a budget Davion Mitchell. So when we talk about these certain things, we are giving a player that is a budget Davion Mitchell so much coverage that, to be honest, I do not know who is in this NBA draft. Now, I am not that much of a college basketball watcher, not that much of a high school basketball watcher because I watch NBA, I watch basketball. Only people that I know that are getting that much talked about that are going into the draft, I go and watch their games. So when Bronny James was into the NBA draft, and I know that he had a health scare, he only averaged 5 points. But I wanted to really see, is that the reason why he's not like projected that high? Is it because of his points, because of how he's playing? But Bronny James, like genuinely, not biased, unbiased, genuinely just needs more time. he doesn't need to go to the NBA right now. He's still in his first year. He had a health scare during his first season at USC. He needs more time. But when we are talking about this player, when we are talking about LeBron James' son, we're not even talking about Bronny James anymore.
Look, you have to commend his professionalism because when they asked him the questions, he answered almost perfectly.
Yeah.
I saw
Great kid.
him work
Great
out,
kid.
and he was shooting the ball well. He had the 40-inch vertical. So in some fairness, he did himself some credit coming from college where he didn't have the numbers showing up in the combine. But I do like the comp because Davion Mitchell is what he said.
He said a poor man's Davion.
But still, at least Bronny understands that that is the goal. Davion Mitchell, Drew Holiday, Derek White, that is the goal, and I respect him for that.
But they did say, what is the rush?
I mean, it's his choice.
Look, Davion Mitchell was a lottery pick, okay?
Yeah,
And he's a very good defensive player.
Poor man's Davion Mitchell.
But overall, when you're LeBron James' son, much is going to be made about himself, his measurements at the combine. He killed the three-point competition, shooting that star drill, showing his athletic skills in hopes of improving his draft stock. And there's no one better to bring in on this than our draft expert, Jonathan Gavoni.
Let me say this. We have to stop. We have to stop. As the media and everybody else shining the light on Bronny, because it's other players that are deserve our attention, right? The lottery guys, the guys that are actually going to get drafted in the first round. Like, we're talking about a guy, a young man, that's possibly going to go late second round or not getting drafted at all. I've never, in my 4 years of working here, I've never sat on the table where we're talking about a second-round pick.
But this is LeBron James' son, and that is a legitimate storyline that one of the greatest of all times has a son trying to play in the NBA at the same time.
And you have to give Bronny credit for actually trying to say the right things and showing up in the right places. And at the end of the day,
and by the way, I like seeing LeBron in the stands as a proud dad. I like that. That's a great example for fatherhood.
He's the #1 scorer in NBA.
What does that have to do with his son being at the draft
Scottie Pippen's kid was playing on the Lakers.
But we didn't shine the light on Scottie Pippen's son like this. We can't move the goalposts and feel like we go do it when it's convenient for us.
When we say Nepo baby, that means that you have the same career, parents to child. And so for those
somebody's a Hollywood producer, their son or daughter gets a job.
But if he has the same dreams and he does get a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, this is the guy who has. But can we talk about this, y'all? This is a guy who's given his life to the game, LeBron James. And if the byproduct is that Bronny gets a little bit of a nod, maybe there is though. Maybe that's okay.
Because Kendrick Perkins, which is actually insane, because I do not agree with Kendrick Perkins that much. Kendrick Perkins made a point that said that basically we're not even talking about Bronny James, we're just talking about LeBron James and projecting LeBron James' skill on Bronny James. And that is an issue. We cannot project how good LeBron James is on his son, because LeBron James' son is his own person, his own entity. He wants to play basketball, and he just wants to play. Every single time Bronny James gets an interview and he tries to talk to the sports media, they always ask him about his dad, how he feels about playing with his dad, how he feels about these things with his father, but not asking him how he wants to play basketball. And Bronny always answers in a good way. He always answers and says that he just wants to play and he just wants to earn his way, his keep, not trying to do anything with his father's name, which is a good thing about that, because sports media doesn't know how to build up a face of the franchise. They don't know how to build up faces of the NBA, which is why every single time a young player plays good, they always talk about them with a question mark, because they don't know how to talk about a certain player. You talk about LeBron James so much where it's an issue that people in this NBA draft that are projected to be lottery picks, #1, top 10, are barely getting coverages on these sports media talk shows. And when you're talking about sports media, when you're talking about basketball, you have to cover what is actual information that is going to be led into the NBA draft. Nobody wants to hear about a person that is a budget Davion Mitchell and might not even be an NBA draft pick. All respect to Bronny, but there are players that are genuinely better than him in this NBA draft that are projected to be #1, #2, #3 overall picks that deserve their flowers, that deserve to be talked about, but they're not going to get talked about because of LeBron James' son. And that is an issue. I understand. Bronny James is going to give you coverage, to give you numbers because you're talking about LeBron James' son. But when you're a NBA, when you're talking about basketball, you're talking about these certain things, you cannot just keep on using LeBron James constantly over and over again because it's going to make people not want to watch. When it comes to ESPN, when it comes to First Take, when it comes to all these basketball shows, their ratings go down. People don't respect their takes because of how they're talking about these certain things. When you're talking about LeBron James, you can't sit here and project all of LeBron James' accomplishments onto his son. That is a huge pressure on top of a young person. He is 18 years old. He's still trying to earn his keep. You cannot project that because the son is all-time great, arguably number 1, number 2 all time, and all-time in the score. You're gonna put that automatic on his son. That is a lot of pressure for a young person to try to go through. That's not something you should be doing. You should look at Bronny James objectively and unbiasedly and look at how he's playing. In the combine, we have scouts, we have veteran scouts saying how he still needs to grow. He's not that good of a basketball player. He's a budget Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell was a lottery pick, but Davion Mitchell known for his defense and he's a role player. So if you're a budget Davion Mitchell, you're pretty much a bench warmer or a D-tier role player. And I'm not trying to say Bronny James is going to be trash. I think Bronny James still has amazing upside. I've seen games of him playing after his health scare when he's actually playing, and Bronny James has tremendous upside. He just needs to learn and play some more. He still needs to grow. So all I ask is sports media, when we talk about these certain things, we need to actually talk about these players that are earning their keep. Instead of talking about a player that is projected to be a second-round pick or not even picked in the NBA draft, we're talking about them because LeBron James is their father. No hit on Bronny James, no hit on LeBron James. It's just because sports media sucks. We need to talk about some of these players that is the up-and-coming next generation because LeBron James is about to go. LeBron James is about to retire in the next 5 to 10 years. And we're not allowing these young players to get coverage, to the other young players to have confidence. We have these young players like Anthony Edwards, and we build them up so high, we compare them to all-time greats, then we immediately tear them down, which is something we shouldn't be doing. We should allow these players to gain confidence. They play bad, okay. Let's talk about how they can improve. Let's criticize them, but not criticize them where they lose their confidence. Anthony Edwards deserved criticism because he played bad in the last time he played, but Anthony Edwards still has tremendous upside. He can still be the face of the NBA, but we're not going to talk about that. We're going to consistently talk about how he failed the Minnesota Timberwolves, how the Timberwolves suck because of how Anthony Edwards played and why he's not Michael Jordan, when you shouldn't be comparing to Michael Jordan anyways. You should be comparing these young players to these all-time greats with these insane expectations. They don't need that. They're still young and they're still growing. Stop comparing these players, these all-time greats, and allow these players to learn and flourish. Please, sports media, you need to get better because sports media just objectively sucks. That is the reason why most people don't respect their takes or even watch sports media, because it sucks. More people would rather watch these NBA YouTubers like Legend of Winning, like Kenny, like Rusty Buckets, because they actually give good takes and aren't biased towards them and allow you to learn and give criticism, besides these sports media TV shows that doesn't. They just talk about a narrative, they talk about how they want you to feel instead of what's actually happening.
It's the 126.
I'm tired of all these hoes sneaking, trying to set me up. If you play around with the game, we gon' pull up, shoot it up. No route, I swear I gotta blow up all that route, shit ain't no choice. I here thuggin' with the boys, they 5.56 and make some noise. Green bitch, she said my ARP, it look just like a toy. Got that blick on side my hip, you run up on me, I'm gon' blow it. Feel like Franklin, got it snowing. When I run down, you will not know it. Got some cars and I won't show 'em, but I promise I'm gon' blow 'em. Standing on so much business, I done up, broke my back. Nigga done stuck DD in the pussy, pull it out the bit tracks. Yeah, I took that nigga shit and he won't get it back, and that's a fact.